Narrator. They piled onto wood planks, desperate to escape before Russian bombs reduced their homes and the lives inside to rubble. Old women in scarves, young mothers with children, wounded people on stretchers, they all scrambled to flee the relentless bombardment. With no power, no heating, no water, no communication, these unlucky few had been huddled in basements for 12 days. But they weren't out of the woods yet. Rockets! Get down! The sound of artillery shells echoed across the landscape, reminding them of their desperation. An old man crumpled onto the ground, too terrified to move. But a small ray of hope shone through when the Ukrainians went on the offensive, with soldier Anatoly excitedly saying that Irpin belonged to them now. Kiev had tried to make safe evacuation routes for those brave people caught in a no-man's land, too close to those devastating Russian forces. For the civilians of Irpin, the only way out was to cross a bridge made from the rubble of a bombed one destroyed by Ukrainian forces. At least their success allowed them to hit back at Vladimir Putin, and the Ukrainians' defiance surprised him. They fought back, and 5,000 began to flee the town. Anna, one woman in her 60s, was only leaving because of the enemy breaking into her family home. The Russians had attempted to run through Ukraine in mere days, with President Putin thinking all would easily surrender to his army. But the author Anna's bravery was shared by all the Ukrainians, the mayor Alexander Markishin speaking out. I am surprised that these monsters still don't understand that Irpin doesn't surrender. Irpin is not for sale. Irpin is fighting. And it wasn't just the mayor, Alexander Irvinets, a former Fulbright scholar who had lived in Philadelphia in the 2 years on 2005 and 2006, was defiant too. He said his fellow countrymen would keep fighting for every piece of Ukrainian soil, and that even art was needed for the cause. Irvinets wrote a poem in the hope that there would be others. He said that, "We want to be independent. We don't want to be with this fucking Putin. But one thing is for certain, the courage, strength, and resilience of the Ukrainian people in the face of devastating attacks and terror will never be forgotten." As they scrambled to safety over wood planks, it was clear that they fight for every inch of their home. And perhaps one day, if the worst of the fighting stops, they will be lucky enough to return home and take the same steps with the knowledge that the terror is now over.